Yo, what's good? It's your boy Nyjah, a.k.a. King's Caliber, the Comeback King. 77 on Instagram, baby. Follow your boy. Hey, follow the YouTube channel here at God's Fault Podcast. Like, subscribe, share, put the noties on so you can get the latest episodes as we dig into all kind of topics. We here for it, you know? Hang with your boy. It's God's fault that I'm here. Don't be mad at me. Blame God. Yeah, we out.
Biggest enemy I got is myself, you know what I mean? All new levels, man, everybody ain't got the same devils. My vision perspectives reach the collective. My eyes smelling like breakfast, eating like I'm cannibal, like I'm sick for perfection. I hear you.
All right, man. Here we back. We back with Mr. Robert Williams, okay? And he was just breaking down a lot of cool things when it comes to the mental strength. It's strength coaching, mental strength coaching. All right. And the website is mentalstrengthcoach.net.
You got it.
mentalstrengthcoach.net. Okay. So for all my listeners out there, make sure y'all visit the website if you have any needs of these services. Even if you're just an employee at a company and, you know, you don't like how things are being handled or delegated, when it comes to HR department or problem resolutions and things of that conflict resolution, things of that nature, it doesn't hurt to pass it on and let the company make some decisions about it. You know what I mean? Because that's always, if you're anything like me, I stay in human resources. My human resources manager, he just leave me coming like. So that's it's definitely much needed. It's something, and I definitely don't want to catch you off guard, but it was something that you said before that I want to pivot back to. You had mentioned you was being pre-warned about the session that was coming up when Alan came, and there was even to a point where some people walked out of the room during the session. When you said there was those younger people, what was the dynamic of the people who walked out? Would you say that they were younger, the younger generation, or a little mix of both?
And so, I mean, these were people probably in their early 30s. I mean, these are professional people dealing with, at that time, they're dealing with people in the financial industry every day.
Right.
But it was something about getting up in front of a crowd that just overwhelmed them.
They just didn't want any parts of it, I should say. Yeah. I find it interesting because in my company, I work with a wide range of people, and I'm the most diverse thing in there. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, but the age groups could be anywhere from 18 years old to some of them are in their mid 60s. You know what I mean? So it's a very diverse age group or whatever. But just being in various meetings, and I'm an assistant manager, so even managing, younger people, late 20s, early 30s, and things of that nature, just to see how things affect them. Like the art of communication, I found is the most important thing that we have, that we can do, in any social environment, be it even within your own domestic situation. Communication is key. How does communication play a role in mental strengthening for people? Like, what is it that you look out for and watch for when you're communicating to make sure that the message you have resonates with different types of individuals?
Good question. So a lot of it really comes down to being relatable. There are two things that people pick up on quickly. Authenticity and being relatable.
Okay.
The moment people pick up that you're not authentic, that this is somehow made up, it's not real, you've lost them. It's already over.
Right.
Because you don't get to go back and try to reclaim authenticity.
Right.
It's something that's established quickly or it's not. And especially when you're dealing with an audience, like, they'll turn off.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what you say after that, they've already stopped listening. So I really just try to go in and be me. it's interesting. I shared with one group, we were talking about difficult conversation management, and I talked about work experiences and having led this group and that group and doing those things. And then I posted, I said, but so much of my experience came from, and I posted a picture of my sons. I was like, I had 3 teenage sons. And
Yeah.
so when you talk about learning communication styles and connecting, because that generation, they don't buy whatever you sell them.
Mm,
It's earned with some.
right. Because the teenagers today, they came up in the era of fake news.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
just 6 years ago, everything was fake news. And even now, if you're looking on social media platforms, with the introduction of AI and everything else, they know that most things you cannot believe with your eyes to a certain degree. You know what I mean? I
Yep.
feel like people get drawn away with things that they want to believe. There's certain lies that people just want to believe, so they allow themselves to believe it. But most stuff, when you're looking at it online or whatever, you can see right through it. And just me being in the marketing world and being in sales all of my life in one form or another, emotions drive. You got that. Wait. But most decisions are emotionally driven.
Right. Yep.
Which, once you learn to, like, for me, myself, once I learned to use my emotions as a meter versus an instinct, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, just like, oh, wait, this is triggering this. Wait, whoa, what's happening? Okay, slow down, pay attention. Why am I feeling this? What's going on? Da, 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 da. Now I can make more sound decisions instead of just being reactive off of what I was feeling. You know what I mean? Yeah, because a lot of times, a lot of stuff was coming like the people who got up and walked out the room, nerves, whatever. They felt challenged. They was at their capacity. Hey, this is not for me. I'm not looking to do any more than what I already do. I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I kind of learned that myself, and just and you want to know what's crazy? Because a lot of people, fathers, I should say, men, I think we struggle with what our purpose is more than we have to, because our purpose is always right in front of us. And me learning consistently to be a better husband, a better father, challenging myself, and just taking a look at, the result of what my choices are, that's helped me learn to communicate even more. And communication comes on all different forms of levels. Sometimes communication is being quiet. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of different things that, just being a father and a husband and just a man in general, working and building towards something and taking time to learn myself, that has helped me communicate in the workplace even better, because now I'm not being led by ego or pride when I'm talking with somebody, or when somebody's purposely trying to undercut me in the workplace or trying to push buttons. You can't push buttons that aren't there.
That's it. That's good.
You know what I mean? So it just helped me with that. So it's just that's why I'm very intrigued in what it is that you do, because I know I've always said you ever see, like, and I mean in your family, your boys are heavy into sports and stuff, and I know you probably, I don't want to put words and thoughts in your head, but I know you probably witnessed somebody like a Steph Curry in the shooting slump, or Klay Thompson or something, and you're looking at him like, and you're wondering who's in his ear, who's in his corner right now. Because it's not a lack of skill.
Right.
Who's in AD's head right now that this man is bricking every mid-range, or that he's settling for that outside shot when he know he should be going? Like, what's going on? Why can't the coach get through to this man? You know what I mean? So with you and your boys being so heavy in sports, do you have an example of maybe one of your sons going through something like a slump or a hard time in the game or something, where you actually coached them themselves, reached them where their coach couldn't reach them, that turned their performance around?
Absolutely. We had that. So, 7-on-7 is big.
Right.
And, so one of my sons plays quarterback. And this 7-on-7 season, you know your kids, you know their body language, you know their demeanor, everything.
Right.
And I'm watching him and I'm like, he's a half step slow in throwing the ball because he's overthinking things, and it was affecting them. And then what happens is it goes from a half second slow because he recognizes it. Now it becomes a second slow, right? And so now it's not throwing with confidence, even when I'm making throws, because I'm not trusting those things. And we literally sat down. We came home from a weekend. And I try to debrief and let him give me his thoughts first. I want to hear from him. And I said, son, I kind of know you look like you're thinking about things a little bit out there. What's going on? And he said, yeah, I kind of am. And what we did, honestly, was like, you know what? Let's try some things. Let's try to be intentional with our focus. So on the night before a game, let's create a routine where we take time and we focus on what we got going on tomorrow. Let's shut down social media. Let's shut down PlayStation and all those sorts of things. Let's take some time. What are we reading right now? I always ask, what are you feeding yourself? What are you feeding yourself? So we had this book that we were doing. We chose it. It was called Becoming Me. And it just talks about a teen in different areas of their lives. And I said, let's go back and read some of those things. And so he began reading some of those things. He read a little bit of a book that Kobe Bryant wrote. He read a little bit about that and the mindset of things. And then we started talking about walking in dominion. And we always take it to the kingdom, man. You know what I mean? Now. We always take it to the kingdom. What are you feeding yourself? So what scriptures are you standing on right now? Because you got to understand that the word, when you talk about the full armor, the word is your sword. So if you're in a fight and you're in a sword fight and you short your sword, you got nothing. You can't strike a blow.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So we started doing those things on the ride, just listening to, I love hip hop, but there were certain Christian hip hop songs. And there's this one, man, the lyric, it's simple. He said, we about to rewrite the family history. We going up like the Statue of Liberty. And that thing just resonates like, this is what you about to do, son. This is what you about to do.
Come on,
see yourself doing that. And when I say he went crazy, to the point that the coach came to me afterwards and said, man, what did y'all do? What's going on differently?
Right.
And I said, he decided he was going to walk in dominion and walk in his place that he's been called to walk in. And his confidence went through the roof. And it's crazy, man. I'm going to brag on him a little bit. That's my son's. I got
that's right.
6 straight tournaments and did not throw a single interception.
Oh, wow.
In 7-on-7.
Come on, man.
And they won all those tournaments too, by the way. And they won every game of every tournament. Let me just put that out there.
Come on, man.
Game of every tournament. So, I'm a competitor,
Yeah. I know.
Like,
yeah. Yeah. That's good. That's good. It's I heard before, I forget who, I don't know if you know who. I'll go back. This is my guy, Myron Golden. You know who Myron Golden is?
I don't. I really don't.
You got to look him up on YouTube, boy. I promise you right now, this man, he's not for everybody, but he's right up my alley because he's a no fluff kind of guy, straight to the point, crazy sales mentor. And he has the Bible Success Secrets book, but he breaks down business through biblical principles and things. So he's a beast, and he goes into what I like to hear. I like to hear the breaking down the etymology. I like to hear the Hebrew. He be breaking down all that good stuff, and I be like, yeah. I rock with him. But the one thing that he says about confidence is that, you've heard every lie that you've ever told, and that's something that, that resonated with me. And another thing, and I'm sure, your son's got it through that book with Kobe, is never negotiate with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I never negotiate with myself, you know. And when you do, recognize why you did it. What was it that was more important than you walking in your purpose at that moment?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because none of us is perfect. We all are learning and growing. You know, anything that doesn't grow is dying.
Right.
So if you're not, if that, you know, and I don't care what you believe in or whatever, if that spiritual person, the real you inside has capped, is disintegrating, is deteriorating.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's no longer no longer growing. It's no longer alive. It has nothing to offer. So that's why no matter what, I'm always looking to feed myself something more, and I'm open to listen, because I definitely don't like being the smartest person in the room. I always want, somebody who has more experience than me in whatever it is to talk, and I want to glean from them so that I can become even better at whatever I got going on. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm really intrigued by what you're doing. Just looking at my own company, they're like, it's so wild with the economic times that we are in. I just had an experience at the movie theater. And I put up a little post about it, very brief, but it was so annoying. Went to the movie theater, and was talking to the young lady, was getting some popcorn or whatever. And I think my wife wanted they had like pepperoni pizza or whatever, or they had like Pizza Hut thing in there. And I just simply asked, I was engaging with the young lady, first of all. She acted like she didn't want to talk to us at all. Like she didn't even want to be behind the counter. That was problem number one. Right. Mm-hmm. If you're a manager on duty and you're doing what you're supposed to do, you would know the mentality of what's going on with your employees, how they're approaching the day, what they're doing. So that was failure number one. Her attitude sucked. Okay. Number two, she was uninformed of something that she should have been informed of. She's working and dealing with the food. The food is right in front of her. She couldn't even give us a time if we could order a pizza, how long to wait for the pizza. Like, well, we had time. We didn't even realize that we did, but we did have time. But the way she did it, like, I don't know. Like, she was very, and I see this a lot in customer service, since part of the elements of my job is customer service based, even though it's not really, but, you're still dealing with a lot of clients. So you have to handle them with tact, Right. So that was crazy. You know what I'm saying? And there was some other things too that went on, and it just made me start thinking. I was like, you know what? These companies really do not respect the consumer. They really feel entitled to your dollar. That you're going to want what they have anyway. You're going to do it anyway. You're going to buy their product anyway. Mm-hmm. So come get it, spend your money, shut up, and leave. And that's the kind of feeling I was getting from it. I'm like, daggone, bro, like I'm spending money like I'm not a guest. Oh, here's another thing. Went in. My wife wanted to make sure that it was the popcorn was buttery, right? So put butter on it. Well, it must have been too much butter, because she felt it coming through the bottom of the container, the paper container. It wasn't the bucket. It was one that they fold. So I went back to get another, bucket, the same size or whatever, to put it on there to keep it from leaking on our clothes and stuff. And asked the young lady, and when I asked her, she looked like deer in the headlights. And then she was like, then she snuck and grabbed one and handed it to me. No sooner that she handed it to me, and this was a different young lady than before. When she handed it to me, I heard her manager, "You can't do that. You're not supposed to do that." So, and I'm just like, wow, this is how your business is ran?
Right. Right.
This is how your business is ran? Even if she wasn't supposed to do that, you're going to yell it across in front of guests and everything, customers?
Right.
That's number one. That's a conversation. Hey, you know what? What happened? What's going on? Was everything okay with the customer? Oh, no. He said he needed it because da-da-da-da. Oh, okay. Well, you know what? Our policy is we're not supposed to give out for whatever reason, because we count whatever they do. So just for next time, if something like that happens, just come and get me, and then I'll determine if it's something that we need to do. You know what I mean? Now that's something I know to do,
right?
Because I'm dealing with other human beings, number one, and I'm dealing with other adults So even though she was young, she's still an adult. She's old enough to work.
Exactly.
Right. So why are we yelling at people, and because we're in a place of authority,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and
Man,
I see a lot of times, even at my own job, I see a lot of people react out of emotionalism
mm-hmm.
to work circumstances, but then they told you got to be this, you got to listen, you got to do this, but that's not how you're dealing with me.
Right.
So that's why I feel like a service that you're offering is very good for companies to really take part in, because they don't really recognize what's going on from the ground up.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird. It's like especially with me being a manager and coming from a seat that I was literally sitting right where the people that because when as me being a manager, I don't look at it as I'm above you. I'm looking at now,
Right.
I have to serve you to make sure that you're successful and productive.
That's right. That's
right.
it.
That's how I see it.
That's it.
I'm here to make you better. I'm here to assist and help and do whatever I can. So me not listening to you, me dismissing you, me, you know what I mean? Like all these little things of me trying to talk down to you or whatever, that's not even in the plan.
That's it.
But I see so many managers and companies and stuff, this is what they do. So how do y'all address something like that with your services? What do y'all go in and like, when you all have to have those hard conversations when you're trying to make the company better in that aspect?
So it's interesting. I had to mediate at a company recently, and between a manager and one of the people that he managed, and so I had one-on-one conversations with each one of them. I just wanted to hear from each one of them what their side was. And so, in anything, one of the things that's important in conversation and working through a dispute is hearing the other side, even if you don't agree.
Mm-hmm.
And too many times, I just want to make my point, right? And I don't want to consider your thoughts or consider your experiences or those types of things, because sometimes that's going to shape how you see a thing. Your experiences shape your perspective.
Right.
And so if my experiences are different, we may have different perspectives, but it's because we haven't experienced each other's experiences.
That's correct. Okay,
So,
I like that. Yes.
So I need to learn from you, right? Because now I can get an understanding of why it feels that way to you. But the thing is, man, like in working through that situation, the first thing I want to know, I got to dig deep, right? So we can't just start where we are. Here's the first question I had to the manager when we went, we talked one-on-one. You were a great individual producer, which is why they promoted you. But how much training, how much did they help you in understanding how to deal with people? Because what you're doing now really doesn't have anything to do with your production. You're in a whole different realm, and it's a whole different skill set. What you're doing now is becoming a communicator and, like you said, a servant of people. So if I'm a great individual producer, but I have no people skills and no one's helped me develop those things, I don't know how to manage. You've set me up for failure. And so those are the types of things, because now I can understand why some of those problems may occur, why they may exist. He doesn't know how to deal with people. He's never had to actually deal with people.
Right.
He's dealt with selling this. And so part of what we did was we actually created a plan. I actually helped create a plan to help him begin to deal with and gain empathy for people and listening and understanding a position of listening, and not hearing to respond, but listening for perspective.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on. We call that active listening.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. And like, with me being like in sales, most of my life, I've had tons of training in different aspects. And one of the things that, I think the misconception is, and you can tell when people are doing it, when they already have a response to what you said before you even finish saying what you're saying, so they're listening on guard. They're not actively listening to what you're saying and what and where it's coming from. And a lot of times that's based off of preconceived notions and assumptions. You know what I mean? Of what you're trying to say versus what you're actually saying. And I'm even guilty of it. That like nobody's like I'm even guilty of it at times. And when I catch myself doing that, you know, I try to slow down. Like, okay, wait. What's driving me not to listen right now? Because there's things. So sometimes, a lot of times, you just got to take a beat. You just got to take a beat. Like, whoa, hold on, pause. All right, let me get some water, let me get some air. Come back. Okay, now what are we talking about? You know, and you could tell when conversations are emotionally driven, they're very unproductive. You know, there's nothing you can do with it. Now you're just arguing with each other because nobody's taking the time out to resolve the issue that's really at hand, and nobody's being heard. You know, and that's something that I even had to learn in the household. You know, and my wife been trust me. She's been training me hard on it right now.
Well, I was about to say, man, if you didn't say you have been guilty, I know I am.
Yeah.
So I understand that it is a learned and intentionally learned skill. And
it is.
We're gonna miss it sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't care. We're gonna miss it sometimes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But we grow in it. You know what I mean? And like you said, anything else really becomes an argument, and there's no growth, right?
Right.
And I can recall it being said a time or two in a few different ways that be careful with arguing with fools because some distance is hard. It's difficult to tell who's who. So I won't. But it happens, right? There's some things we get caught up in sometimes. And it's like, man,
right? No, that's real. That's real. I just I had a situation not too long ago, and that's what. And texting is a culprit. You know, that's why when you text and communicate through email, you have to really pay attention to what you're saying, because the tone is not. If you're not a writer, some kind of eloquent writer, your tone of what you're really trying to say does not come through right. You know what I mean? So you really got to be detailed. Even with emails, like I email my team a lot about different things, and I try to make sure that my tone in the email is very clear. And like everything has to be intentional. And I know people might get tired of hearing that word, but they're like, no, if you're not doing things with intent, then you're not doing them at all. You know what I mean? Like you're just throwing it, hoping something sticks, just throwing it to the wall, hoping something sticks to it. And that's not how that's not how life really works if you want to go anywhere. You know, that's might be how a lot of people currently do things, but that's not going to get you the results that you desire to get. You know what I mean? So you really want to be paying attention. And what I figured out too, when I'm communicating, and if it's something's escalating to an argument, it's like, wait, what's the original purpose of the conversation? Because is this me needing to be right, or is this actually a solution here at the end of this? Like, you know, where are we going? Because if it's not going anywhere, then the conversation can cease, right, into another time, or we need to get on the same page. I've seen arguments, and you probably even experienced this in your own household. We argue over how to be better. It's like, wait, we both want the same thing. Why? Why? How did this get to this? All this emotion involved. We both want the best for each other in the home and the kids, and yet we're like this. Like, that's the wildest thing in the world to me. You know what I mean? I had to really sit back, like, oh, so there's other things triggered in this, even though the purpose is the same, but the triggers and the things that's going on that we connected to is what's tearing us apart. You know, so when I feel again like that, it's like, hold on, wait, hold on, 1 second, my bad. You want what's best, I want what's best. We are not on the opposite side here. What's causing the offense? What's causing the offense? And a lot of us are easily offended. I was just easily offended by somebody that I love very much the other day. I was entitled to be offended. But I wasn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my wife had to check me on it. She G-checked me. She was like, hey, what's the problem? Yeah. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I definitely could have let that go. But because of how it came across and, whatever, I took it really personal. And it was just like, and when I sat out, and you want to know what? And like I said, I'm not a big religious guy, but I promise you this: it came to me very clear. How can you love a God that you can't see, and you can't love your brother that you do see?
Those uppercuts be hard, don't they?
That's why me and God beef all the time, man. I ain't even gonna lie to you, man. I be like, "Dad, God, you get on my nerves, man. I can't stand you sometimes,
Listen,
man."
I get it. You want to be upset. You want to be whatever it is. You feel like you have the right to be,
Right?
and he be
Nah.
like, "Wait, hold on." You're like, "Man, dog, just I can't have this one.
Right.
Just this one."
right. And and it's the art of communication. So and it's that's why I said I'm not perfect in any way, not even claiming to be or trying to be, but I am purposeful in life. At this stage in my life, and it helps out when I do communicate, because it really does eliminates a lot of things. Because you'd be surprised how when you really pay attention to your own person, you be like, man, like, you know what I mean? That it done got a lot of people in trouble. It's caused a lot of havoc and chaos in relationships and family, and if you let it go far enough, it can put you in some places that you can't return from. So, especially like in doing that in the workplace, how many people have walked out of a good job because they was offended, because it was the opportunity to grow and they couldn't.
That's it.
You know what I mean? Or if they would have handled it. That's why I always tell my kids, I'd be like, listen, wherever you go, it's not you. You're not the representation. You know what I mean? There's somebody else that needs what's inside of you. And if you get selfish and just react, they're missing out on what the good thing that you got in you that you're supposed to be sharing it up.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? So
powerful.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, man, once I learned that, it really took away a lot of stuff, because especially like when you live in the hood and stuff like that, this is the environment, the culture is toxic to me anyway. I come from where, you see another brother walking down the street, you already got your guard up.
Right.
You know what I mean? They got a whole term, ice grilling. You know what I mean? Like, you already prepared for the worst because of the social programming and the self-hatred and all the other things, negativities that's all within there. So, and we're our biggest enemy to ourselves and to each other at times. And that's just for existing. That's how I knew my head was not in the right place. And I was like, hold on, I got another, I'm made in a creator's image. Right. I got this is you. What let me stop putting this self-projected thing that I adopted, that identity for myself or who I am. And let me start letting the light shine, so to speak, of who I really am. You know what I mean? So that's and that started changing. When I started thinking like that, it really started changing my life in a way that I can't even explain. It really has. So, but right here, I'm gonna pivot. We're gonna take one more break.